Mistral just partnered with HUMAIN, and this is much bigger than another AI logo swap. This is not a cute announcement. This is not two companies agreeing to do webinars together. This is Mistral looking at the next phase of AI and saying the quiet part very loudly. The model is not enough anymore. The API is not enough anymore. The benchmark score is not enough anymore. The next AI fight is about where the model runs, who owns the data loop, who controls the compute, and which region gets to turn all of that into real products. And if you build software, this should make you sit up, because the deal is not just about better Arabic AI. It covers infrastructure, models, cybersecurity, voice-regulated industries, and local compute. It is worth hundreds of millions of euros. That is not a side quest. That is the stack. My opinion is simple. Most developers are preparing for the wrong AI future. They are preparing for a future where you pick the smartest model from a dropdown, but the future that is arriving is messier. Your customer may ask where the model runs, your company may ask where the data goes, your regulator may ask who can inspect the system. And suddenly, the developer who understands deployment, data boundaries, evals, voice security, and model portability is more valuable than the developer who only knows which chatbot feels best this week. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this. Now, back to the video. The boring version is that Mistral and HUMAIN announced a strategic collaboration for sovereign AI in Saudi Arabia and the wider region. The real story is that Mistral needs more than model hype, and HUMAIN needs more than money in data centers. Mistral has models, open weights, enterprise tooling, inference, and a serious brand outside the United States and China. HUMAIN has compute ambition, government-backed demand, regional access, and enterprise relationships, and a reason to spend ridiculous amounts of money on infrastructure that is not just another cloud region with a nicer landing page. So when these two companies say collaboration, I hear a trade. Mistral gets a real path into a region that wants local AI capability. HUMAIN gets a frontier model partner that is not Google, not OpenAI, not Anthropic, and not just another American cloud dependency. That matters because sovereign AI is not really a technical phrase. It is a buying argument. It says, why should my bank, my hospital, my telecom company, or my government agency send the most sensitive workflows through a black box controlled somewhere else? That question used to sound like policy theater. Now it sounds like procurement. And procurement is where developer tools either become real or quietly die. The announcement names cybersecurity and voice as early focus areas. Those two words are not random. They are exactly where generic AI gets exposed. Cybersecurity is full of private mess, internal logs, private networks, compliance rules, and all the failures that only make sense inside one company. The demo works with a clean log file. Production throws a half-broken trace, a private endpoint, and a rule that says the data cannot leave the environment. That is where hosted AI gets awkward, not because hosted AI is bad, because hosted AI is far away from the mess. Sovereign AI is basically saying, bring the model closer to the mess, run it where the data is, adapt it to the local domain, keep the learning loop under the customer's control. That is a big deal for security teams, but it is also a warning for developers. If your AI feature only works when everything can leave your system and go to one global API endpoint, your architecture is fragile. Fragile means it works until the first serious customer asks a serious question. Where is this running? Who can see the prompts? Can we deploy it in our region? Can we swap the model? Can we inspect failures? That is the question set that separates toy AI apps from enterprise AI apps. And the Mistral HUMAIN deal is one more signal that those questions are becoming normal. Voice is the other clue. Voice looks like a feature. It is not. Voice is where language models stop being text boxes and start becoming interfaces, and voice in Arabic is not a small localization task. Arabic has dialects, different accents, different speech patterns, different business contexts, different cultural defaults. A model that feels clever in English can feel weird the second it has to handle real regional speech that matters, because a lot of people will not meet AI through a coding assistant. They will meet it through support calls. Banking, government services, healthcare booking, retail, and logistics. Voice agents are going to be the first AI interface many people actually use. If the voice agent cannot understand the region properly, the whole thing feels fake. That is why Arabic performance is not just a nice inclusion point. It is a market unlock. If Mistral and HUMAIN can make models that are genuinely strong in Arabic, then run them on local infrastructure for regulated industries, that is not just better translation. That is a different product category. It means a bank can build an AI support agent without pretending English is the default language of the customer. It means regional companies can build on models that understand their users, not just the version of their users that appears in English training data. And yes, every model company says it is good at every language. Cool. Then measure it in production with accents, call center noise, mixed language inputs, and the boring failures that never appear in a launch chart. That is where the real gap is. There's a trap here. Sovereign AI can become marketing soup very quickly. Every vendor can say control, choice, local, compliant, open, secure, and sometimes what they really mean is, please buy our enterprise package with a slightly different invoice. So do not accept the phrase at face value. Ask what is actually sovereign. Is the model open weights or just available through a special endpoint? Can the customer fine-tune it? Can the customer own the adapted model? Can inference run in country? Can training run in country? Can logs stay inside the customer's environment? Can the customer inspect failures? Can they leave without rebuilding everything? Those are the questions because the fake version of sovereign AI is cloud lock-in with a flag on it. The real version gives customers control over data, compute, deployment, and operations. And this is where Mistral is interesting. Mistral has spent a lot of time positioning itself around open models, customizable deployments, and regional control. It is not the only company making that argument, but it has a cleaner reason to make it than the huge cloud companies do. If you are already the default global cloud, sovereignty is a bit annoying. If you are Mistral, sovereignty is a wedge. It lets you walk into a bank, a government agency, or a telecom company and say, you do not have to hand the whole future of your AI stack to a single foreign platform. That is a powerful pitch, especially in regions that do not want their AI future imported as a finished product. So what actually happens next? First, expect localized model work, not just translated prompts, actual adaptation around Arabic, cybersecurity, regional workflows, and voice. That means better benchmarks eventually, but more importantly, better production behavior where generic models struggle. Second, expect local deployment stories. The announcement says Mistral will explore using HUMAIN data center infrastructure to support growing local compute needs. That word, explore, matters. It does not mean everything is already built. It means the direction is clear. Mistral wants compute options close to customers. HUMAIN wants its infrastructure to be where serious AI workloads land. If that turns into real availability, regional customers get a much stronger reason to use Mistral-powered systems. Third, expect regulated industry deals. Financial services, telecom, manufacturing, cybersecurity, and public sector, those are the places where local control is the buying reason. Fourth, expect announcements that sound more finished than they are. This is normal. AI infrastructure moves are announced long before the boring work is done. Do not confuse announcement with product, but do not ignore the direction just because the first press release is not a finished platform. Developers make that mistake constantly. They hear something is not ready today, so they act like it does not matter. Then procurement shows up with a requirement that was obvious from the start. The developer impact is not that you suddenly need to move to Riyadh or rewrite your app tonight. The impact is that AI architecture is becoming less portable by accident, and it needs to become more portable on purpose. Right now, a lot of AI apps are built like this. Pick one provider, use one SDK, hard code assumptions about prompts, tools, context windows, logging, pricing, and output format, ship it. That is fine for a prototype. It is dangerous as a product strategy because buyers are going to ask for things your prototype never considered. They may want a different model. Regional inference, private deployment, no data retention, audit trails, Arabic support, voice, or lower latency near their data. They may want to compare a Mistral model, an open model, and a cloud model inside the same eval pipeline. If your app cannot handle that without surgery, you have built a demo, not a platform. I'm not saying every side project needs enterprise architecture. Please do not turn a weekend app into an abstraction museum. But if you are building something serious, stop tying your product identity to one model endpoint. Your product is not the provider. Your product is the workflow. The model is a very important component, but still a component. So how do you prepare? First, separate your AI layer from your product logic. That does not mean over-engineering. It means your application should know what task it is asking for, and your AI adapter should know which model is currently doing it. Do not let provider-specific weirdness leak everywhere. If changing models means editing random business logic files, you have a future problem. Second, build evals before you need them. Not academic evals. Your evals are support tickets your app sees, the code changes your team asks for, the security reports your product generates, the messy language and voice inputs your users actually create. When a new model or deployment option appears, you should not be asking, does the internet like it? You should be asking, does it pass our workload? That is the difference between being a developer and being a model tourist. Third, treat data boundaries as a feature. Know what you send, where it goes, what gets logged, what gets stored, what your provider promises, and what your app can delete. This sounds boring until a customer asks for it. Then it becomes a sale. Fourth, prepare for local and regional deployment. Even if you never run your own model, design as if model location can change. A request might go to a global API today. Tomorrow, it might go to a regional endpoint. Next year, it might go to a customer-controlled environment. The cleaner your boundaries are, the less terrifying that becomes. Let me be blunt. I think the AI industry is splitting into two worlds. Consumer AI is fast, flashy, centralized, and obsessed with which chatbot feels smarter this week. Institutional AI is slower, more expensive, more boring from the outside, and much more consequential. This is where governments, banks, telecoms, hospitals, manufacturers, and energy companies actually put AI into operations. That second world will not be won by vibes, it will be won by control. Control over compute, data, language deployment, and risk. That is why this Mistral HUMAIN partnership matters more than another chatbot feature. It is a sign that AI is moving into the infrastructure layer. When AI becomes infrastructure, developers will need to understand model routing, evals, inference location, data governance, and adaptation. Not everyone needs to become an AI researcher, but more developers need to become AI systems people. And if you start preparing now, this is actually good news because most people will wait until the requirement is already in the ticket. The practical takeaway is this: do not look at the Mistral Humane deal and think that is far away from me. Look at it and think this is what more AI buyers are going to ask for. They will ask for local control. They will ask for regional performance. They will ask for proof. They will ask for auditability. They will ask for deployment choices. They will ask why your AI feature is glued to one vendor. And if you can answer those questions, you become more valuable. So this week, do one boring, useful thing. Take one AI feature you're building or studying, find the provider-specific code, pull it behind a clean boundary, write 5 real eval cases, log what matters, document what data leaves the system. Think about what would break if the model had to run somewhere else. That small exercise will teach you more about the future of AI development than another hour of arguing about benchmarks. Because the future is not just smarter models, it is models turning into infrastructure. And once AI becomes infrastructure, the winners are not the people who memorize the latest model name. The winners are the people who can build systems that keep working when the model, the region, the rules, and the customer all change at the same time. That is why this partnership is worth watching. Not because every announced promise is already real, but because it shows where the pressure is going: more local, more controlled, more regulated, more language specific, more infrastructure heavy, and much less forgiving to developers who build AI features like disposable demos. Mistral and Humane are not just making an announcement, they are pointing at the next version of the AI stack. And if you build software, you should probably start preparing before that stack lands in your backlog.